Welcome back. I'm Shelf Unit, and this is my continuing Let's Play of Civilization 2. Last time we'd continued to progress rapidly through the industrialization, building railroads everywhere, and our exploration continued. We've explored about half the world now, I would say, by the sea. And we are beginning to get settlers here, or engineers here, and begin to essentially terraform this area. But very shortly we will have factories going up in all of these places, and our production and expansion can continue even more apace. So let's very quickly actually collect a settler unit here, and I will take them. Let's irrigate down there. Let's go build a marketplace. Again, we can change that by going up to a factory. We can irrigate down here and then connect the irrigation further. Let's build more railways. And I'm going to take this unit up and uncover what's in there. Horde of barbarians, that's not so good. So let's get out of here. And I'll take you back. So I produced another unit there. I'm going to build a factory in Nottingham, which is not going to help much, sadly. It requires a sewer system. Now we've got 10 million people. We're going to make a landfall, and we're just going to carry on exploring and leave those barbarians to their fate. So we've now got 2 here. So we can build a city wall, 2 riflemen. The smaller the city is, the harder it is on the production to have a heavy defensive unit, because it takes a lot of the production away from things, from building all your city improvements until you have a larger amount of citizens. Fortunately, we've got a surplus of 3 and the granary already there, so we're going to increase the number of people we have rapidly, thankfully. Okay. They've got a lot, so we're going to circle around here, uncover some more area for them, and fortify that unit. This has now built an aqueduct. What's it got? It's got a harbour already, so again we shall just flip over to the factory. Factories take a long while to build. I want to go back to London quickly and buy the factory. Let's increase our science massively. Buy the factory there for only 300 gold. And let's check and see what they are. Friendly mercenaries. Oh, they can go to Oxford. We can change that now to city walls. And send them up there. More railroad building. Another, what looks to be, maybe it's not that small. Disorder in Oxford. London builds a factory. We discovered communism. Communism is a conceptualized system of government in which resources and production facilities are the property of the entire society rather than individuals. In a communist society, labour is shared equally as well, and the benefits of labour are distributed according to need. Under such a system, all people would be equal without class stratification. Although the basic idea of communism has existed since the time of Plato, modern communism is identified with the system of government described by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels in the Communist Manifesto. They believe that capitalistic systems in which the rich upper class prospered through the exploitation of powerless lower class were bound to destroy themselves. At this point, the poor would rebel against their former oppressors and form a classless society. This prophecy has thankfully never came true. And countries who have attempted to base their governments on communism has ultimately failed to achieve the utopia described by Marx and Engels. Basically because they don't take into individuals. We are not ants. We cannot be sort of classed like ants. Ants have no interest in individual improvement. People do, and that's why communism just cannot work. Anyway, so now we've discovered communism, on paper, the best form of government. We shall deal with guerrilla warfare. And in London, I will change to a stock exchange to earn even more money than the 22 tax revenue we're getting now. Aztecs, whose homeland we have not yet discovered, surprisingly. So that's a road there. Let's pop that down there, and oh goodness. Barbarians. More civil disorder in Oxford. The government of Oxford has collapsed. That's a problem because we discovered the unit outside of the city, it counts instantly as causing unhappy citizens inside the city. So Novgorod built an aqueduct. That's good. Now I want a factory in there. Just going to make landfall there and see if I can find anything. I can. We've discovered the Aztecs. Excellent. Cavalry is now a veteran. Order's been restored in Oxford for some reason. We have now almost finished. God damn it. That's annoyed me. Can fortify this unit in Oxford. I'm surprised by this. Hastings has built its stock exchange, so we can build a factory down there now. Let's carry on exploring down here. It has built its aqueduct. I thought we didn't have any corruption. What? When did I... Oh! Interesting. So when a city goes down in democracy, the government's collapsed. Huh. Well, let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Let's go to communism. So discoveries every 6 turns, so it's not terrible. Income's decent. We can now get discoveries every 4 turns, but where income is limited, so let's try that. Newcastle now has no corruption. Okay, I was not aware of that. Interesting turn of events. So I want to, just because it looks nicer, do farmland on everything now, getting ready for fundamentalism. So this is the homeland with the Aztecs, and the only place it appears that they have actually colonized, which I find shocking, considering they're supposed to be one of the better civilizations around. Let's see, there's groups of small islands around. As you can see, farmland just looks nicer than the irrigation. Ships. They put a couple of nice cities around there. Aztecs and Sioux signed peace treaties when we've discovered guerrilla warfare. In extreme situations, usually spawned by an oppressive or militaristic form of government, small groups of citizens have been known to form armed factions. In many cases, these splinter groups lack the numbers, finances, and armament to start a full-scale revolution. Instead, they adopt a practice of undermining governmental authority through covert military operations. These operations usually take the form of hit-and-run raids, where rebel soldiers launch surprise attacks on an enemy target, and then disappear into hiding, only to strike again at some other time and place. Such tactics, known as guerrilla warfare, seldom have any lasting effect individually. However, over many years, guerrilla factions can become a serious threat to governmental authority if the rebels cannot be caught and suppressed. Tactics of this sort were used to great effect by the partisan forces in Nazi-occupied Europe during World War II. So let's get espionage and get spies. See what land we've discovered over here. It looks lush and pleasant. Carry on our exploration around here. Building a stock exchange there, so let's flip to a factory straight away. London's now built a stock exchange, and the tax has gone down because of communism has reduced the overall amount of benefits that we get, less trade. So in that case, let's build J.S. Bach's Cathedral, or Bach's Cathedral, which will help us reduce unhappiness, if there is any. Let's see what land this is. Continue to farm. I just don't like any uncovered spots. It's one of my many failings. More Russians. They are everywhere. We've uncovered Sioux lands. And we discovered espionage very quickly. As far back as 500 BC, Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu stressed the importance of gathering covert information about one's enemy. Although every world government has strict laws and penalties to deal with spies, covert intelligence is an important political, technological, and military commodity. During times of war, covert operatives provide important information about enemy troop movements and weapons technology. Spies may also be called upon to perform acts of sabotage in order to delay or divert the enemy. In peacetime, organizations such as the CIA use operatives to keep track of potential political situations abroad. Spying is not limited to politics and war. Industrial spies are often used to gain information about rival companies. And now we get the corporation, which is all that is left. Irrigate there. We've got Koda building a marketplace. And now a factory, if we've not got one. This is the Sioux homeland. Newcastle's built its city walls. And because now, under democracy, these would have cost a resource shield each to maintain. They don't under communism, which means we can build things a bit quicker. So let's build a harbour, the university there, and let's build a factory now. And let's continue to progress along here. Aztecs are taking on the Statue of Liberty. We discovered the corporation. As businesses grow, they often find it necessary to raise large amounts of operating capital in order to expand their operations beyond a certain point, or to meet operating expenses. In these cases, one option available is to form a corporation and go public, or sell shares of the business to investors. This arrangement allows the business to expand rapidly while spreading the risks of the expansion amongst many people, reducing individual risk. Corporations also have legal advantages such as the right to sue and the limitation of liability for the corporation's debt, the amount originally invested by the owners. Corporations as legal entities have existed since ancient Rome, although the joint stock company as it is known today didn't begin operating until sometime in the 16th century. Now we have advanced technologies. I'm thinking of going electronics because I want to get the Hoover Dam, which provides me with massive production bonuses in each city. So it looks like this is the homeland of the Sioux. Tbilisi's finally built a factory, massively increasing its production levels. Now, since we have only 20% taxes happening, I don't have much use for marketplaces at the minute, so we're going to pump everything into science and the university. Minsk has now built its factory. It has got 4. There's a tax being done, so we could possibly do a bank, but again, Coastal Fortress might as well go for because it doesn't cost us anything under Adam Smith's. Stay with ships and explore the land a bit here. If there's any barbarians around, or any villages rather, I should say, we shall explore that. Coventry's built a university. Doesn't have a marketplace. Let's build a factory there now. Okay. Let's carry on farming. Oh, we do have one. Friendly tribe of skilled mercenaries. Fair enough. So let's pile in. And continue farming along here. We've now discovered electronics. The field of electronics deals with the practical application and manipulation of electricity and electromagnetic phenomena. The invention of the vacuum tube in the early 20th century marked the beginning of modern electronics. The vacuum tube was capable of amplifying weak radio signals, allowing them to be transmitted over greater distances. Vacuum tubes also allowed music and voice to be superimposed onto radio waves for transmission. Early study of electronics revolutionized a number of fields, especially the field of communications. Because of the vacuum tube, the technology of radio communications was highly developed by World War II. After the war, electronics research continued to advance rapidly. Post-war advances include the earliest examples of digital computers, and eventually transistors and integrated circuits, miniaturized replacements for the vacuum tube. So miniaturization will give us, I believe, the offshore platform, which will vastly improve our coastal cities, as every square that is currently being used by a citizen to produce food, whatever resources, blah, 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 will produce one additional shield, which is huge. Oxford's built city walls now. So what should we build in Oxford? Let's build a harbour there to increase food production. Can we not do that? We can. Won't take too long. 12 million people now. Lots of little islandy places, and the Russians are getting barbarian invaded again. We haven't had any barbarians, which is quite nice. Chooks build its factory, which gives massive production boosts. And I want to build a library in there. Moscow now, again, huge production boosts. And I'm going to build barracks in there, just because. And a tiny little island there, surrounded by a huge number of resources. Continue to farm. Castle builds its harbour. Now I would like it to build a factory. No, miniaturization apparently does not give me the offshore. Unless I'm going blind. Okay, change. Now we want a... What do we build in Minsk? University. And now we've discovered miniaturization. There's the offshore platform. Early radios and other electronic devices relied on vacuum tube technology. Because the tubes took up a great deal of space, the devices that utilized them tended to be very bulky and cumbersome. In the late 1940s, development of the transistor provided a compact alternative to vacuum tubes. Transistors were capable of achieving the same level of power amplification achieved by tubes, whilst taking up much less space and using only a fraction of the power. Starting in the 1960s, the integrated circuit provided still another level of miniaturization. As integrated circuit, the size of a transistor could perform the function of 20 transistors. Today, the microprocessor, a modern refinement of the original integrated circuits, can incorporate the functions of several complete printed circuit boards into a single low power consumption chip, less than 2 inches square, allowing for the construction of handheld computers with more computing power than the huge mainframes used in the 70s and 80s, and nowadays it's even smaller. So let's get refining next. I don't want genetic engineering yet. Send these off. More Aztec homeworld. Or areas. Goodness me, it just takes so long to do all of these things. Probably should have gotten a few more. Well, that's going to be a source of clash. Kiev has built its factory. Now I can build a library. Moscow's now built barracks. And it can now build a university. Slim butts. Lovely. The best kind. Okay, so let's send these guys a bit further that way. Novograd's now built a factory. It can build a coastal fortress. Warwick builds a university because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coastal tiles that are 7 coastal seaborne areas. It can now build an offshore platform that will make use of them. Now these things are extremely expensive. Edo's built a factory. It can now use a harbour, I would say. Excuse me. As you can see, my cash reserves are decreasing rapidly. So I need to do something about that, but I'm not sure what, frankly. Discovered refining now. When the demand for oil-based fuels for lighting and other purposes began to soar in the 19th century, scientists began searching for a way to make use of crude oil. This research led to techniques in which crude oil was broken down or refined into a number of different fuels, including kerosene and gasoline. As consumer demand continued to increase, commercial refineries were set up to purify crude oil. The new petroleum products produced as a result of the development and perfection of the refining process led to the use of oil-based fuels in many consumer and industrial applications. These include the use of gasoline to power automobiles and the use of oil for heating and for the generation of electrical power. So I want combustion now as we head towards the automobile. It's a nice little island. It's a city in there now. And Chick's now built a library. I could build one of those. I don't want to. I'm going to build engineers there, just to improve the area around it. And we are going to continue to explore around here. Desert now builds a factory. We can build an offshore platform there too. Nottingham's built a factory. It can build an offshore platform to take additional resources from those. What is London building? The J.S. Bachelor's Cathedral. More science, I feel. It's going to produce that very shortly. Chinese have nearly completed that. Tbilissi's built a university. I'm going to build a marketplace for them because it's not going to cost anything. Another small island by the looks of things. Yeah. Continue to farm around there. And they've built Statue of Liberty. But we built J.S. Bachelor's Cathedral and discovered combustion, which means submarines in 1752. The development of the internal combustion was a great advance of the industrial age. The forerunner of today's internal combustion engine was built in 1876 by German engineer Nicholas Otto. Refinements on Otto's design over the next 10 years led to more efficient and powerful engines. The internal combustion engine forever changed the world of transportation. Early automobiles utilizing steam engines had proven to be both underpowered and impractical. But the fuel efficiency and compact size of the internal combustion engine allowed the automotive industry to flourish. Several variations, including the diesel engine designed by Rudolf Christian Karl Diesel, went on to revolutionize propulsion in shipping and other transportation industries. So now I want the automobile. And I want to change London to making the Hoover Dam. And I'm going to terraform there, because Arctic stuff doesn't really produce much in the way of useful resources. We are still the advanced. The Aztecs are still the second most advanced nation, which is incredible considering they've not even got industrialization yet. Oxford's now built a harbour. It's got a surplus of 3, and I'm going to build an aqueduct now to keep it going. And Yeshut's built engineers. And I'm going to make it build a marketplace as well. Because I think marketplace is going to be helpful after I've built roads and things around it. Nottingham requires Edo's built harbour. What can I build for Edo? It's got a surplus of 3. I'm going to build a coastal fortress. It again has no defense on that level. Kiev's built a library, which is good. I'm going to build a marketplace there, I think. Again, just to increase my tax slightly, as it's now becoming... I'm losing a lot of money. Anyway, with that, I shall end. If you've enjoyed, please subscribe. If not, don't worry about it. So this is just a casual playthrough, which is just me having fun and trying to be marginally instructive, if not particularly. Anyway, thank you very much, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye.